Where do you want to be? Let's reverse engineer that. I didn't come up with that on myself. UWM taught me a lot about that. There at UWM, we were constantly focused on being the #1 overall lender, and we would micro goal that. We would ultimately say, okay, we're doing 10 billion. How do we get to 20 billion? And let's get there in 3 years. And we would reverse engineer every single department, every single person knew their role and their function, and we were all working to get there. Whether you were the president and the CEO, or a chairman on the board, or ultimately you were the janitor, you knew exactly where it was that we were headed and what we were doing. So I want to ask you, where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What impact do you want to make? And reverse engineer that. Who am I meant to be and what am I meant to do? And then I joined this diversity group called La Familia there within UWM. And not sure if you guys know this, but I was the very first Spanish speaker at UWM, and I used to translate in between all the floors, all the different departments, VVOE, underwriting, because that's how passionate I was to help our community. And as I sat in this room, there was probably about 30 Hispanics that were in that room, and they do different functions throughout the life of the loan. Not to speak down about them, but most of them did not know how to obtain a home. And I thought to myself, extremely puzzled, and I said, how ultimately can you work on a loan and not know how to get a loan? I'm not a licensed loan individual. That's how I started my career, but that's not where my passion is. I don't want to just help one consumer or two consumers. What do I want to do? I want to have a nationwide network of people that I can refer and say, hey, you don't know how to purchase a home? Great, let's go over here. Or maybe it's even help career-wise. Maybe you are a part of that loan process and you're on that VVOE team and you have a dream of becoming a processor. Or maybe you're a processor and you have a dream of becoming an originator. Or maybe you're an originator and you have a dream of becoming a branch manager. Who is going to guide you? What are those steps to do? I'm here to tell you that the members of Home, we're here to establish that community and do just that. Whoever it is that you want to be, whatever it is that you want to do, write it down on a piece of paper. Set yourself up with those little tiny goals. And guess what? We are going to hold you accountable. This quote by Kent M. Keith explains just that. People are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies, but succeed anyways. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow, but do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable, but be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest men and women with the smallest minds, but think big anyway. People favor underdogs, but follow only top dogs. Fight for a few underdogs anyways. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight, but build anyway. People really need help, but may attack you if you do help them. Help them anyway. Give the world the best you have, and you'll get kicked in the teeth, but give the world the best you have anyway. And I'm here to tell you with Home, it doesn't matter if I reach one person, two people, 5 LOs that I can refer different consumers to that I know they won't get taken advantage of. I'm going to continue to do it anyways, because that is the difference that it makes, and that's who I want to be. Oftentimes get the question, where is the disservice? Well, I'm a Hispanic consumer. I go into a bank, and ultimately they tell me, I'm sorry, your FICO score is too low, you don't qualify. I get discouraged. I don't have a roadmap. Don't really understand how to improve my credit. I watch some videos on TikTok and I scroll, and ultimately I try to improve my FICO score, and I do. And then I walk into the bank and they say, I'm sorry, you don't qualify. But they don't actually give you the specific reasons or a roadmap as to how you can obtain a home. Maybe it's looking at their credit report and saying, hey, I noticed you had a couple of collections and maybe AUS is reading that incorrectly. How about we try doing this? And how about we try doing that? Or there is a specific lender out there that, doesn't really care about this, and we can do some manual underwrites and we can get a little bit more creative with this. That is where the disservice happens to the Hispanic community. Beautiful part about being in the wholesale channel is lenders have variances. An LO recently asked me, Rogelio, what is a variance? I've never heard about that. That's where Fannie and Freddie ultimately set the guidelines, but with different lenders, they adjust those guidelines for those lenders, and they say, hey, we're going to beta test this. One prime example is child support income. Normally, you need 6 months of child support income, but there's some lenders out there that have a variance to only require 3. So when you're thinking about a divorced mom that ultimately was dealing with a domestic violence issue, does she have to wait 6 months to go and get a home? With most retail lenders, she does. But if she partners with a local mortgage expert, they will be skilled enough to know, hey, you know what? Let me look at my database. There's 1 or 2 lenders that have a variance on this. Let's go partner with them and see what we can do on that. That is how we make a difference in the community. The way that I would simplistically explain it to realtors and borrowers is similar to a broker in insurance, where they are signed up with multiple different investors or multiple different lenders, multiple different options, and they shop on your behalf. You discuss goals. What are you looking to accomplish? Because ultimately, you're trying to get that home. No one really likes a mortgage, but what is the path of least resistance? What am I trying to accomplish with my goals? So are you a first-time home buyer? And are you going to live in that home for 30 years, for 50 years? Or are you planning on selling that home or maybe doing primary conversion and investing in another home? These are little tiny things that sometimes the retail channel isn't available to support because they're either in a call center or they're ultimately just looking at their quota for that month, and they're not able to stay up to date with all of the things that you want to do as a consumer. Historically, Hispanics have generally stayed in the southern regions. You know, you have your Miami area or your Texas area or your California area. But the reality is, with not only home affordability being on the rise, interest rates being on the rise, Hispanics are moving and they're going all throughout the United States. So when you look at this map, I want to challenge yourself, being in the wholesale channel, where are you marketing to? And how can you increase your footprint in other states? 25.5 thousand Hispanics moved out to Ohio. I can't think of one wholesale broker that's Spanish that's in that area. That's a huge opportunity. So for my brokers out there in California, please get licensed in Ohio and also apply to be a state captain so that we can promote you in that local community. Other states like Illinois, 17,000 people moved over there, and that's primarily a heavy retail state. You would be able to go in and gain so much market share simply because retail on average charges the consumer about $13,000 more in the life of their loan. So if I was an originator, I would sit down to myself and say, where are Hispanics moving? And where should I take a family vacation to? Get an Airbnb. Go out there and work for a week or 2. Create relationships. Go to the local mercado. Go to some fairs and events that the Hispanic community has, or even connect with your local open houses and establish some relationships there. ¿Qué te cuesta? What does it cost you? Absolutely nothing. You get a family vacation out of it, and then you build your footprint and people are more familiar with you. If you could give any advice to a brand new loan officer, not even just a Hispanic loan officer, but just a young person that wants to get into this industry that honestly has been very archaic. Most of the people in this industry are way older than we are.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
When I was in tech sales, I learned how to actually sell. And the best way to learn to sell is by helping people with pain. It's like they taught us a Sandler sales training. You go down a pain funnel. You ask different questions to see what pain a prospect is going through. And if you're not the best fit, that's okay. And you can be the good person that gives them the advice to say, maybe you're not my client. Maybe someone else is. And I think if you do enough good in the world, it'll come back. But if you can ask the right questions, you may discover that this is a lead, and they're probably likely to tell that you're being genuine. You're not some sleazy car individual that's coming out and yelling, you know, I've got this color, I've got this feature, I've got this. No, it's what do you and your family need? What's valuable for you? And I think being a listener and solving people's problems is never going to go out of style. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. And I would argue just ask questions, be a listener, provide value to people. You do it enough, you repeat it enough. I find it hard to believe you're not going to grow your business.
If you're alone, join our cause, become a state captain, or just connect with us in general. because we have some tools and technology that we're dropping just like ChatGPT. My passion has always been in the mortgage industry and helping the Hispanic community. The first 2 years I spent in retail, and then the following 10 years I spent in the wholesale channel. I first felt like I had a commitment on a national level to make sure that everyone knew that the wholesale channel existed. Now that UWM is the #1 overall lender and we accomplished that mission and have gained 30% market share, guess what? Now I can dive in a little bit more deeper and hone in on the Hispanic community. So that's why we created Home. In addition to that, the industry has seen roughly about a 40% attrition rate, and we need good LOs now more than ever, because people that thought that this industry was sexy or it was just, to get a quick buck, they're gone. And who's going to help our people? Who's going to help our gente? So that's why we're creating this environment and this organization to help out. Do I have to be Hispanic? Isis, you want to answer that?
So no, you don't have to be Hispanic, but you have to have el corazón. Have that heart to serve. We are literally looking for people that have la pasión for our gente, for our community. It doesn't have to necessarily be Latinos, but obviously we're focusing on our people because they get taken advantage of every day. But if you guys have that passion to help our clientes, guys want to sit down like a belly to belly treatment with the consumer, the cliente, the tío, the tía, the mami, the whoever it is, and you guys want to listen to get to the root of the issue, the problem, the luggage or the package or the whole thing, just the whole picture, we're calling on you guys. We need different types of underwriters. We need people that care. So why Home for me? Because here I know that everyone that I walk into that room with, we care. We care about our consumer. We care about your cliente. We care about your family.
Hi to Nuevo Home members, I'm Kubi Hernandez. As a community, it's very important, especially as Hispanic mortgage brokers, that we lead the community at this time, because we have an opportunity to not just be known as the hardest working lenders, but also be known as the most high-tech lenders. So today I'm excited to announce a resource that we're going to be giving to members only. We're going to be giving a ChatGPT that is specifically for mortgage questions so that you can actually run various scenarios, and I'm going to take you through them.
I'm actually going to be using ChatGPT. And when you receive your membership, you'll actually open this directly in ChatGPT, and it'll actually pop in right here, and that's how you know you got it. What are my mortgage options? First thing it does is searches the web. The next thing, it'll start giving you the options that you have. Conventional loan, 5% down, an FHA loan with 3.5% down. And what you'll notice is that it doesn't present the 3% down conventional, because you have to ask, what are my first time home buyer options? It's pretty incredible. It's so smart. It's really listening, and the higher quality of questions you ask it, the higher quality of responses that you'll get. And so you'll see it's actually quoting interest rates that are pretty in line with where we are today. We update this multiple times per week, and we'll be updating it for you all too. And it's actually using our standard comp plan rates that we input. So this is actually generating something that's accurate. And if I pull my cell phone out, you can see ChatGPT goes on your phone. So when you're on the road and someone's just asking you, hey, I'm in escrow, what if I put an additional $10,000 down? You do that, it's going to actually show you the options now all over again with an additional $10,000 down.